So here we are, you and me, my friend, out here in this beautiful nature. And I would really like to talk today about this idea of contrast. This idea of contrast in life, in this human experience. Because what I've come to find on my spiritual awakening journey is that if I'm not willing to go into the depths of my pain, the depths of who I am, the depths, the shadows of what I went through when I was younger, when I experienced trauma as a child. You know, I am a survivor of different types of abuse. And for the longest time, I was so uncomfortable in my own body as a result of experiencing abuse as a child that what ended up happening when I was 12, 13 years old is I emotionally could not be present. I emotionally could not be present because at that time, if I were to tune into what was going on emotionally, it was just way too overwhelming. The amount of pain that I was carrying for so many years was so overwhelming that I just began to disassociate. And it felt so much safer to be up here, more in the mind, more in the imagination, more in the kind of dreamer type of persona. I just started disassociating from a young age. Around 13 years old, I would literally like float above my body. And for the longest time, I just wanted to run. I wanted to run as far as I possibly could to get away from all the pain, all the betrayal, all the abuse, all the neglect, all the silencing of my voice, you know, family trauma, divorce, religious cult upbringing, you know, victim of, I don't think I'm allowed to say the actual word, sensual abuse. I don't think I can say the word on YouTube. Sensual abuse, neglect, all kinds of difficult, painful experiences that a child should never have to go through. And when it's just one thing after another, especially in my most formative years, the safest thing was to disconnect and disassociate and just live within my imagination. But why I want to share that with you is because if I hadn't gone through such dark, painful experiences when I was younger, the depth of that, I also wouldn't be able to experience the exact opposite. I wouldn't be able to experience true joy, true pleasure, true zest for life, let's call it. I wouldn't be able to experience this true zest and marvel and magic that I am now capable of feeling for this life, this planet, this human experience. There's no way that I could have learned how to tap into that other extreme of our emotional spectrum. You know, the light side of things, the juice and the magic and the love and the just like it's so amazing to be alive. The gratitude, the pleasure of just being present in the moment. I wouldn't be able to tap into the other side of our emotional spectrum if I hadn't first experienced what it's like to live without all of that. What it's like to live without joy, without connection to myself, connection to the divine, connection to the world around me. And there's literally magic to be found at any given moment. I think a true testament to spiritual growth, personal development is when you can actually learn to find the magic in the mundane. Because that's honestly what spirituality is about. It's not just going to a church and praying and, you know, and just calling it a day and going on with your life and just dedicating that 1 hour in this physical space in a church and thinking that that's it. And then going about your mundane life, you know, kind of miserable and not really feeling connected to yourself or the world around you. There's so much more to be experienced in this world and when it comes to spirituality in general. And being able to tap into the magical moments, the mystery of this world, you know, tapping into little details that maybe you used to overlook, you know, before you started becoming more present with yourself and in your body. I think that's really for me the key to spirituality, spiritual awakening, you know, connecting more with the divine. It's learning to be fully present in my body. And I don't think I would have gone on this journey of learning how to become more present and more safe and more connected to myself within my own body if I hadn't first experienced the polar opposite when I was a child. I think through experiencing extreme darkness when I was younger and thinking, okay, well, that's just what life is. It's just constant suffering and constant pain and constant hiding and running away from these horrible, painful, deeply uncomfortable feelings in my body. It's living through that experience long enough to reach a point of saying no more. No fucking more. Yeah, I self-censor. No effing more, okay? I can no longer live this way. I no longer desire to live in darkness. There's gotta be more to life than this. The darkness, the suffering, the pain, the fear, the trauma, the constant self-disconnection that ripples out into constantly feeling disconnected from others. That doesn't have to go on forever. And there was a point in my life where I decided I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to be, you know, trapped in a prison of my own making, because that's what trauma does to us. It traps us in a prison of our own making, thinking that staying within that prison is going to keep us safe from ever feeling hurt again. But it really is in that contrast, the contrast of this emotional spectrum, the duality of the light and the dark, that is what makes us feel most alive as human beings. And the more that I've learned how to work with my own pain, work with my own shadows, honestly, how to learn to dance with my demons. That is a poem that I've written that I'll be turning into a song as well. If you ever want to see my poetry, get on my newsletter, follow me on Instagram. Some beautiful poetry that I share based on these experiences. But it really is learning to dance with your own demons. That is the key to learning how to love yourself in the light as well. If you don't know how to love yourself in the dark, how will you ever learn to love yourself in the light? And that's truly the contrast, to be able to recognize that the pain and the suffering, the trauma, whatever you have gone through, the most challenging, difficult situations you've gone through in this life, they're designed to help open you up to this huge emotional spectrum that is this human existence. Because how can you truly know joy and love if you've never experienced the opposite of it? How can you truly be grateful for the light if you've never lived through the dark? You know, if it was just all rainbows and sunshine and lollipops every second of our human life, would we actually have the opportunity to contrast that with anything, to know how great it is, to tap into gratitude, to, you know, to express gratitude for the smallest mundane things, you know? I know for most of my life, I barely noticed anything going around me. I never sat out in nature like this. I didn't give a crap about trees. I never noticed rocks. I never noticed the intricate patterns. I'm looking at a rock right in front of me. There's moss all over this rock, creating all these different textures and patterns and colors, and it's honestly magical. It's unique. No other rock is ever going to look the same, and never going to have this exact pattern of moss displayed on it. It's like, I never noticed all these little things about this planet until really learning how to slow down more and stop running away from my trauma and my pain. I literally have lived in, goodness gracious, how many places have I lived in the last 15 years? I have been so nomadic. I've moved around so much. I've lost count. Let's say about 30 places. Let's say I've moved maybe 30 times, 20 to 30 times over the last 10, 15 years. Various countries, different parts of the US as well. And part of that was me running. Part of that was constantly changing my external environment to distract myself for long enough from actually sitting in stillness with myself, from actually... Oh, there's some bike riders coming by. See? Another magical moment.
Hola.
Hola. Hola. Oh, I'm in Spain, by the way. Another magical moment. Great example. And I stopped and said hello. Like, I never used to do that. I used to just ignore everybody because I was so deep in my own trauma, deep in my own pain. I didn't know how to be open to others and open to the world because I was so closed off from myself. I was in constant escape from the pain, the turmoil that was always brewing inside of me that I kept locked up as tight as possible. Until one day I just couldn't anymore. Until one day I just couldn't stay locked up so tight because that darkness was just knocking so hard on my prison cell to be let in. And honestly, that darkness wanted my attention. It was never there to keep hurting me. It was there because it was neglected. The darkness was neglected. The darkness never got a chance to express itself and never actually got a chance to talk to me and say what it needed to say and how it was feeling, whether it's through crying, shouting, whether it's through, singing, whether it's through doing some creative activity, whether it's through, painting, or whatever method is going to best help your emotions flow through you, especially the heavy emotions, the darker emotions. That's what has really helped me return to a sense of wholeness within me, is just allowing those darker emotions to express themselves through a physical medium. That's really key. If you just keep running from them, they're just gonna be with you wherever you are. You are literally locked in a prison cell with your own demons. Might as well embrace them. Might as well talk to them. Might as well pay attention to them. Or else you'll just be trapped with an enemy your entire life. And that enemy is within. This also makes me think of a video I made about the war with the self. You can check out the link above. Check out that video above if that is of interest to you. But that's definitely related. We are at constant war with ourselves when we don't allow ourselves to embrace those shadows, those demons. But really, it's just unexpressed pain. It's just unexpressed pain that we've been carrying for who knows how long. Months, years, decades and decades. That we've literally trapped ourselves with in our own inner prisons. And all it wants is your attention. It wants you to give it attention to express it so it can finally be released from your body. And once you do that, you can be released from that prison cell of your own making. You can finally let go. You can finally breathe. You can finally feel the joy of being alive again. Because you're no longer carrying the weight of being in pain. You're no longer constantly trying to numb yourself out in constant distraction. Because It takes far more energy to guard yourself, to shield yourself, to push down that pain, that baggage, carry that baggage. That takes way more energy than just putting it down. Don't you think? It takes so much more effort to try to suppress what's within instead of expressing what's inside. Once you do that, that is the key to starting to free yourself and allowing yourself to be who you truly are, as this beautiful expression of the divine, as this beautiful creative being, as this beautiful human being who came here to experience true joy and love and pleasure and passion and a zest for life. But you can't fully access that other light side of our emotional spectrum until you're willing to face the dark opposite spectrum. They go hand in hand. They are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. And for me, it's been incredibly freeing to understand how to take that pain, take those shadows, allow myself to feel them, allow them to flow through my body in healthy, creative outlets, like dancing, like shaking my body. Vocal expression has really helped me. I'm also a singer, which you can check out my music in the links below as well. Follow me on Instagram, hop on my newsletter if that's of interest to you. You want to continue the journey with me. But yeah, I really want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself and recognize that contrast is the key to life. If you want to feel truly alive, stop living like the Walking Dead. And you deserve so much more than to walk around numb like a zombie. You deserve to feel fully alive, fully free, fully in your body, fully embodied. You deserve to feel fully you. And contrast is the key. Contrast is the key, my friend. So I am walking with you hand in hand along this wild journey. If you've enjoyed this message, check out the links in the description below. I would love if you would like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It really, really helps the algorithm, and I really appreciate any type of support. That really helps boost the algorithm so I can get messages like these out to more people, help more people awaken to the truth of who they are and their full emotional spectrum as human beings. And I am so grateful that you're here with me. I'm so grateful that we are walking hand in hand on this journey, and I want you to know that you are never alone. Even when there's nobody physically around you, you're never truly alone. And keep flowing and growing. Keep flowing and growing. I would love to hear from you in the comments if this message resonated in any way. Let's all, let's share our journeys. Let's come together in this beautiful digital community and help walk each other home, So I'd love to encourage you to encourage each other in the comments by sharing your journey and letting us know, how has your human experience been? How have you been learning to transmute, alchemize your pain into passion, your pain into purpose? Because honestly, that is what pain is designed to do. It's designed to be transformed from darkness to light, from pain to purpose. So every single one of us has this ability and this innate power to work with pain, face it, embrace it, dance with it, and transform it into something light and magical and inspirational for others along the way. Sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.